kind of in shock right now because I wasn't expecting this, but I guess Ozempic can cause bone density loss.
Singer Avery is devastated because she discovers she has osteoporosis from Ozempic. Welcome back to the JP Rex channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, and corruption and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters because truth conquers. But to conquer anything, you have to be strong. Luckily, we have grass-fed beef liver by Ancestral Supplements to help us get stronger. I'll tell you this, low energy, mental fog, and a low mood are my biggest enemies. That's why I rely on nature's multivitamin grass-fed beef liver. It's time to get healthy and strong again. Get your grass-fed beef liver at ancestralsupplements.com/JPReacts and use discount code JPReacts for 15% off. Enjoy. But if you want to extract nutrients out of your body, ask your doctor if Ozempic is right for you. Now, all over, singer Avery has come out with a very devastating video, and it actually is heartbreaking. It's all her fault, but it is heartbreaking because she was on Ozempic for a year, went to her doctor, and doctor says, you have osteoporosis and osteopenia. In other words, your bones are starting to disintegrate. That's a pretty devastating thing if you live in the field of gravity like we do here on the flat earth. But nonetheless, allegedly this is happening because of Ozempic, and loss of bone mineralization is one of the many documented side effects of Ozempic. Now, we have done several videos on what I think is the psychological corruption that gets people on Ozempic, where we have a growing number of people who don't need it because they're in a very acute situation, being super overweight, and exercise nutrition either doesn't work for them or they won't do it. But Hollywood types, hello, singer Avery, saying like, hey, I'm already underweight. I'd like to be even more underweight. And I sure as heck don't want to use exercise and good nutrition to help me reach my weird looking health goals. And there's devastating things that have happened with Ozempic, and it's predicted we're going to have huge class action lawsuits in the coming future. Nonetheless, we've covered some of that, and I'll continue to cover it because I think Ozempic, the idea of people relying on it, is just a really piss poor substitute for self-responsibility and self-discipline. So with that said, we'll take a look at a couple things here, starting with the video of Avery, who I never heard of, to be honest with you, and I'm happy about that. But first, take a look at her before Ozempic and after shots of Ozempic. This is actually her before. This is someone who wanted to use a weight loss drug to lose weight. By my eyes, she is objectively underweight as it is. And don't let her lips fool you. Those are injected with collagen, I would bet. So like that gives her an artificial sense of like healthy body fat. But just looking at her, judging this pink book by the cover, I'd say she's underweight. And here she is after a year on Ozempic. Some would say sickly. Some would say a bit of an anorexic look. So nonetheless, what has happened to her is her own doing. She voluntarily took Ozempic. I'm not happy that she has osteoporosis, yet self-responsibility, like this is her doing. Maybe she was aware of the consequences, and actually in the video we'll see, it sounds like she was. She just thought, well, osteoporosis, that could never happen to me. Well, it did. And here she is, very distraught about suffering from one of the side effects of Ozempic permanently.
I just left the doctor's office. I went to get a checkup because I've been off of Ozempic for 2 months now, and I just wanted to see if my body was in better condition, if there were any permanent damages. Kind of in shock right now because I wasn't expecting this, but I guess Ozempic can cause bone density loss, and I didn't think that that would happen to me because I was only on it for a year. But I have significant bone loss.
Significant bone loss. And this is a young person. Significant bone loss. That's very devastating. We'll get back to the video in just a second. I'll tell you this, the number one thing I can do to myself that makes me feel more terrible than anything else is compromising my sleep. Waking up is painful. The whole next day I have terrible energy, which makes any little task feel like a huge load. I feel way more irritable. My recovery from exercise goes down. My injury rate goes up. So if you're like me and want to feel terrible, bad sleep. Check. But I'll tell you, I really don't like feeling terrible. That's why now every single night, a half hour before bed, I take my Dream. Dream transforms your night into your most productive wellness tool. Dream is a revolutionary approach to sleep with natural sleep supportive ingredients in the form of an indulgent hot chocolate. It's delicious. Since I've been using it, I find I fall asleep faster, I sleep more deeply, and I wake up noticeably more rejuvenated. And that makes life feel way better for me because I don't have to deal with the demons of poor energy, waking up painfully, and having every little thing feeling super heavy and stressful. And because I'm not irritable, people around me probably like me better. I use Dream because it makes a noticeable difference for me. Set yourself up to be the healthiest version of yourself, feeling your best in 2025. Go to shopbeam.com/JPSears, and for up to 35% off at checkout, use code JPReacts. It costs less than a cup of coffee a day, and if you really want to save, jump on a Dream subscription. You ensure you never go without your Dream at night and have to suffer the consequences the next day while saving. That's shopbeam.com/JPSears, and for up to 35% off, use code JPReacts. Enjoy. Now back to the video.
I have osteoporosis and osteopenia, so that I don't know, there's like several of them that I have. I wasn't expecting that.
By the way, nobody expects predictable side effects of medication. Typically, people have a sense of that can happen to other people, or that's rare. No matter how common or rare it is, that's rare, that happens to other people. Not many people sit there and think like, yeah, I think those side effects will happen to me.
But that's what happens if you use Ozempic for weight loss and you lose too much weight.
That's what happens. And she has said, please use me as an example. So her really devastating situation, she's speaking out because she wants to warn other people so it doesn't happen to them. And I certainly admire that, letting her suffering have purpose of potentially bettering people's lives by maybe some people that would otherwise get on Ozempic for reasons like she did, maybe they'll think twice and not do that. Maybe they'll save themselves their own pain and suffering because they saw her example. And I'm not a doctor, but I'm about to play one because guess what? I identify as a doctor, therefore it's my truth. You better respect it. One of the concerns I have of people relying on Ozempic to lose weight without exercising, without eating right, a lot of nutrients, a lot of minerals, is I would hypothesize that I think it's possible as a doctor, they're even more prone to bone loss. Because if you're taking Ozempic and you're exercising, especially weights, you're at least having weights that are giving your body a good reason to have stronger bones. Like when you're lifting weights, your bones get stronger. Yes, your muscles do, but over time, your bones get stronger too because you're giving your body a reason to lay down more minerals. We're under a lot of weight. Body has a good reason for it. But if you're just taking Ozempic, no exercising, most likely more at risk of this. And that's not medical advice. That's just me saying what makes sense to me. So bone loss is one side effect, and let's take a look at a quick rundown reminder of some of the other side effects of Ozempic.
This is from Ozempic's own website. The very first thing that you should know about taking this is that it may cause serious side effects, including possible thyroid tumors and cancer. Are very open about the fact that in studies with rodents, Ozempic and medications that work like Ozempic actually cause thyroid tumors, including thyroid cancer. And over here, we've also got some pretty serious side effects that, although they are not as extreme as cancer, they are still pretty serious. So inflammation of your pancreas, changes in your vision.
Changes in your vision. I like how they wrote that so flippantly, like changes in vision. Like, all right, like, let's just say, like, you'll lose vision. Like, I doubt one of the changes of vision would be like, oh, your vision improved. That's a positive change. Change in vision. I say no. Loss of vision.
Low blood sugar, kidney problems, allergic reactions. Bottom of the list says gallbladder issues.
Now, I'm all about informed consent. Call me RFK Jr. like if you want. I love informed consent. I love freedom. If there's a medication that is super risky, but the pharmaceutical company, the doctor, they're very forthright with it, and the person looks at the potential consequences, they makes a choice, I'm going to take that. I'm all about that. Like, I love freedom, but you got to have informed consent to have actual freedom when it comes to medical issues. Now, there's some gray area where the Ozempic manufacturer is not necessarily accused of being very forthright with side effect info. Let's take a look. Lawsuits are being filed against Novo Nordisk, the manufacturer of Ozempic, alleging that the company failed to warn patients about the potential side effects of the drug. Whoa, earth-shattering information. This is the first time that's ever happened with a pharmaceutical company that's ever been accused of failing to warn people about the side effects. So I don't know if that's just an accusation or actually true, but there's a precedence where lots of drug companies have gotten in trouble, slap on the wrist style. Yeah, we'll pay $5 billion in a fine because we made $500 billion off of this. No problem. It's part of the business plan. The lawsuit claims that Ozempic can cause severe gastrointestinal issues, including gastroparesis, also known as stomach paralysis. That's a problem. Intestinal blockages, ileus. I think they made that one up. Vision loss. It's a much better way of phrasing it. Change of vision. Death. Ozempic on the, instead of death on the label as a side effect. They're like, change in lifespan. Yeah, can we call it that? Let's call it that. Sounds better. The lawsuit also alleged that Novo Nordisk was negligent in testing and monitoring the drug after it was approved for use. Spoiler alert, that happens in pharmaceutical companies. Some lawsuits also claim that the company made false or misleading statements about the drug in its marketing. Well, they're the first one to ever do that too. So with that said, it's certainly heartbreaking for this singer named Avery. She's had this devastating news handed to her. Her bones are disintegrating. It sounds like it's a permanent condition in her case. That is absolutely heartbreaking. And as she is advocating, please use her as an example. Use your own mind. And I would also say, make sure you really use self-responsibility. I don't think we're ever accidentally going to be healthy when we're not using self-responsibility as the backbone of making our health decisions. With the recent news about Ozempic causing Avery's osteoporosis, let me know what you think about this drug in the comments below. I look forward to hearing your opinion on it. I'll see you in our next video, but until then, stay self-responsible.